this is that lamandra that I harvested the other morning, actually yesterday morning. I just split it down the river and then I've let it dry since then. Now, I'm going to be doing 3 hooks in this video, but one of them I'm not actually going to make it. I've already made it from a previous video, which is that one there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this, turn this into cordage, and then I'm going to make a gaff hook. Same principle, working the same way as this one, so you can see how it goes together if you hadn't seen that other video. But yeah, like a gaff hook's handy. If you're fishing, you don't have the material to make a landing net, you don't have a landing net, you can't drag a fish up on the embankment using light lines, or you've got a cliff and you can't get to the water, you can make a big long pole with a hook on the end of it to hook the fish to drag them in. So yeah, I'll do exactly the same as making that one, if I can hang on to it. Do exactly the same as making that one, only on a much bigger scale, so you can clearly see it. But first things first, I've got to convert this to cordage. So I'm twisting away from myself with the top one, and then that bottom one, I'm coming over it and pushing it through with my finger. So it's twisting away, coming over the top, and then that bottom one just gets kicked through. And that's all it is. Going to join another piece into here. That's what I've got so far. But I might bring the camera in here and stick you over my shoulder so you can see what I'm seeing, help you visualize it easier. Let's just twist away over the top, and then this bottom one is just getting pushed back through to become the new top. So it is the next morning. I'm 6'2", so that's one of me, and that's 2 of me, and yeah, about half a foot left over, so 12.5 feet, that's what I've got to work with. What I'm going to do now, get this out from under my feet. Just my trusty chopping block I've been working on for quite a number of years. Went out and collected a branch. Firewood. I'll get back to you when I'm done. Okay, where were we? Just going to attach to there. Alright, I've got that cut on a bevel. So they've got to be both the same thickness. At the moment this is thicker than that. I want to harden this end a bit before I get its final sharp point. I'm going to get a fire going right here. Just a tiny little fire, just enough to scorch this. Just got a bit of fat wood here. That's how small my fire is going to be. That's probably all the wood I'm going to use on it. I'm only going to have it going for a minute. So what the fire does is it hardens the timber, stops it rotting, but I'm not worrying about that. But the hardening the timber, if you just take timber and you put it into water, it softens up. If it softens up on that point will lose its edge. So you want to keep it as hard as you can, and by hitting it with some heat in a fire like this, you can yeah, it just helps keep that point just a little bit better. And why am I so dark now? I'm either blown out or I'm super dark. Alright, time to use this cordage. Lay it down on the side facing you. Yep, and then you've got to poke it over the top. It comes over there, back underneath. I'm going to put a little notch there just to help me get started. I'll bring you in, you can watch it from behind me again. You can see exactly what I'm doing from my point of view, so it'd be your point of view if you're doing this yourself. Lay it down that side facing you, going over the top. Now I've got that little notch thing there. You're going to go around there, back around that side. Then you're going to come back over the top. Now this time I'm going to put my spike on there. So going over the top, back around there, over the top, back around there. Just trying to keep everything as tight as you possibly can. I've only got about 2 feet of cordage left, so I'm just going to keep working that up the shaft of this thing. And as I go, I'm just going to keep putting in half hitches all the way, just to make sure, like, because you see it like it's coming apart there, that's toast. All right, and that's going to hold it all in place. I can try to tie a little knot in the back here. That's going to be it. Shows you the concept of it, and I did this hook exactly the same way, so it was lashed on the same way as that. The only difference were that it's smaller. I used a different cordage, so I used flax to make the cordage for this. And the other thing I did with this one, once the kookaburras finished their morning chorus, so done guys. I'm trying to film here. If you're using the bait that I was using, which was worms, but I think it'll come in handy with any bait you put on this thing, you can't push a worm onto that barb. Like, you can, but it just tears through the worm because it's too thick. So you can pin it on a little bit, but then you have to sort of wrap it around the shank of the hook, and the worm will just move around and it will come undone unless it's a dead worm. So what I did was, you put your worm on and then you throw in a half hitch. So you make a half hitch with this bit of cordage like that, and you just pull it tight on the worm, and you can put another worm on and another half hitch on it. You can keep going. But if you're using a bit of meat for bait, which is what I'm going to do this time around, you can really embed that hook in the meat, and then you can just use this bit of loose cordage just to really secure it, so a fish can't just pick it off the hook real easy. It's going to be held on there. So that's the one big thing I'd suggest. If you're going to make this type of hook, leave yourself some cordage attached to it so you can tie your bait on. Time for the next hook. So these are deadly looking thorns. This is what I used on the last primitive hook. My thought is, I've already got a spike on one end, so I've only got to shape the other end to make a gouge hook. So I've got a thorn. Now I've just got to sharpen the other end of it, and we've got a hook. My thought is the key to primitive fishing or primitive trapping or anything like that is simplicity, for one thing, less things to go wrong with it, but also the time it takes to make it. Because if you've got 200 meters of line and you spend 2 hours making a hook, or you could spend that 2 hours making 20 hooks like this, and then you could have 20 lines in the water. You just cut your line and have it on set lines everywhere. You're really increasing your chances of actually catching something. Now, granted, you're going to need bait for all those 20 hooks, but if you do have bait available, then yeah, like I've been going for under 2 minutes and I'm calling this hook pretty well done. So that's pretty damn sharp on either end. If this was thicker, you can score a line around the middle of it just to stop your line slipping. If I score a line around there, it's just going to weaken it even more. I've already made it thin, so it's already weakened. So that's it. That's that hook done. Since I don't have the bone that I was hoping to have, I'm going to try this hook using some shells, some seashells. This is just some shells that I had that I collected a while ago. Should definitely have safety glasses on doing this. I'll get back to you when I'm done. This is going to take me, I'm thinking this is going to take me hours. Yeah, hours. To say these these shell hooks taking a bit of time would be an understatement of the century. So I've got 2, 4, 5 hours, maybe 6 hours to make these two. I've had other hooks that have broken on me. End of the story. Yeah, I've got 2. So I've got that one there, and then I've got that one there. I would have liked a longer shank on it. I just didn't have the material after breaking the shell numerous times. No barbs on these. It was just too hard to try to get in there with the file, and the Leatherman's actually put a barb in there, which is what I wanted to do, but I just wasn't able to achieve it. So I'll give you a close-up of these hooks. This is the gouge hook, so I'm going to put that up there. Alright, it's got a really light rock on it, small rock. This is that shell hook that I did. I'm hoping with this one they'll self-hook themselves as they turn to swim away. And put that one up there. And these rod holders that I'm using, I just collected a bit of bamboo. This is the original primitive hook that I did on a previous video, which I've now got a bit of meat on there, a couple of bits of meat. That's just venison. Had some venison last night for dinner, so I kept some offcuts. I'm going to put that one straight out. Something takes that, I've really got to set the hook, because it's not going to do anything. It's not going to penetrate the fish's mouth in any way to hook the fish. So if something starts banging on this, I've got to really, and it grabs it and runs with it, I've got to really set it. It's just a waiting game now, and fingers crossed that brain holds off. 3 different hooks, 3 different options, 2 different baits. So I'm sort of giving myself the best chance of getting a fish, rather than just having one line of water and the fish are over there and I've got my line out here. I've got lines spread out over this whole area. Anything's moving around in this area, it's going to come across my baits, and then it's just a matter of whether I can actually hook the fish. That line there showing a bit of interest. Yep, definitely a fish on that line. Now there's a lot of turtles in this river as well, which is it's a problem, because they'll have their way with your bait as well. I need it to commit and swallow that hook. Here we go, a bit more action. Alright, my line's just gone slack. That could suggest the fish has got it and it's swimming towards me. Nothing. Probably the worst thing that could happen is an eel could grab it, because that could just bite through my line. So we're going pretty quiet. This is my Bushcraft landing net. I made this in a video a long time ago now, if you want to see how to make a landing net. I think if you're planning to go out long term in the wilderness, or if you're prepping to live off the land or something like that, commercial hooks definitely, not primitive ones, if you really want to have a good chance of catching food. And I think nets as well, like either a gill net or a cast net or both, because when there's little tiny fish around, you can still eat them or use them for bait. And if you've got an area where there's no snags on the bottom and you can throw a cast net, then yeah, you've got a lot more chance, and even like little shrimp and things like that you can catch. Definitely the best option for long-term survival. Now I know there's a fish that's showing interest in that one. If I don't see any more movement on that line in a short while, I'll pull it in and check that bait. Oh, I've got a bite on that one. Missed him. That's the thing with this hook, I've really got to try to set the line like that. Bites on this one here, this is the shell hook. Another bite. And I think we've got him. Yep, we've got a fish on. This is on that shell hook. Really want to high stick him here. No, it's a turtle. I don't want a bloody turtle. What do I want a bloody turtle for? Hey, if you're in a survival situation, then yeah, you could most definitely catch turtle and eat it. But I don't want a bloody turtle. Yeah. Alright, I've got to get the Leatherman out. Oh. Right, so he's out. There you go. Turtle. Primitive hooks catch turtles. Great news, guys. Means it is successful. I know it's not a fish, but I just managed to catch food on a primitive hook. If I didn't have that landing net, I wouldn't have caught that turtle. I'm gonna sharpen my shell hook up a little bit. If I can hook a turtle, then I can definitely hook a fish, because a turtle's mouth is a lot tougher than a fish's mouth. If I try to lift that turtle up, every chance it's going to throw the hook or it's going to snap the line. But having the landing net there, I was able to just scoop it up, and so it's definitely a plus if you're able to make a landing net. And if you can't make that, then make a gaff hook. Don't know how that's going to work. So I've just think the rain's going to start to pick up. Just gaffer taped an umbrella to my tripod. See, if a turtle grabs this one with a gouge hook, very little chance I'm going to hook him. So they've got small mouths, they're just going to peck at it. I'll just grab hold of it and swim off with it. So I need that fish to come along and really engulf it. So yeah, the gouge hook for catching turtles, very little chance of success unless you use a really small gouge hook. But I've shown with the shell hook, it's kind of like a circle hook, so the fish or turtles actually hook themselves as they swim off with it. If a turtle grabs that first one, that barbed hook, little chance I'm going to hook him, because he's not going to have it right in his mouth, it's going to be hanging onto the outside of it. So it's only if a catfish comes along, then I've got a chance. Rain's picking up. It's just a waiting game really. I've run out of worms, so now I've got a bit of venison on this one as well. So I'm now going to have venison on all three hooks. So now that big chunk of venison on there, I can certainly cast it a bit further. Alright, definitely something showing interest in that one, in that gouge hook, which has now got venison on it. My only chance is if it's going to be a catfish, then I've got a good chance. It's not a good chance. There's no good chances with primitive. If you're using primitive hooks, there's no good chances. It's just a chance. So yeah, if it's a catfish, I've got a chance. If it's a turtle, I've got 0 chance. We don't even want to think about an eel. So yeah, we'll wait and see. The wind has just started to pick up a little bit. The breeze. Just saying. I think we've got something here, guys. Yep. Oh, I threw him. I had a fish on. But, right, that's it. Last bait is in the water. I'm all out of bait. But that was definitely a fish. Reeling it in, there was no weight there, so I thought, oh, maybe I lost it like every other time. There was nothing on there. But then the line was right across there. He's swimming with it, and then I could feel the fish thumping on the line. But obviously it just wasn't down his throat enough. First one, that barbed hook. If you can make it as small as possible, then you can really conceal it in the bait. Right, looks like I'm getting bites on that one I just mentioned, on that first one. And there's bites on this one. So I've got bites on 2 lines at the same time. I want it to really commit before I try to reel this thing in. Yep, fish on. Stay on there, big boy. Definitely a fish. Ah, it's an eel. Of all the things I didn't want to catch, got myself an eel. Alright, there you go. I lost my gouge hook as well. I could have used the landing net to try to land it. Getting bites on that first line. It's all happening. For the recipe that I've got, I need a fish. So hopefully that first rod will now catch it, because I've now lost that gouge hook. The thing with the gouge hook is you can make up multiples of those really quickly. So I didn't think I'd get an eel on the gouge hook, but there you go. Right, I'm being pretty harsh on myself, thinking, you know, I set out wanting to catch a fish to be able to cook, but I'm using primitive hooks. You know, I made these hooks in the bush, and so to have a result on 2 of them, I think that's pretty damn good. Like I caught a turtle on one, I caught an eel on another one. Pretty good result. So it's taken a while to get this video done. A lot of rain, a lot of issues. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think of it. Tell me what you think of the channel. And yeah, hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Show your support for what I'm doing here. And till next time, I'm going to go have a coffee. Thanks for watching.